Welcome to the full FX Unfiltered. This edition is in association with CME Group. My name is Colin Lambert. I'm co-founder and publisher of the full FX, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Paul Houston, Global Head of FX at CME Group. Paul, love to see you.
Yeah, and you, Colin. Pleasure to be here.
You are about to go live with testing for actually probably one of the launches of the year, I would say. And I don't give out praise that easily, you know, in Spot Plus. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to actually talk about what Spot Plus is, what it does, and maybe how it's going to impact the broader FX market. So let's kick off. Yeah, what is Spot Plus?
Yeah, sure. So we're about to go into new release November 11th, and then go live early 2025. Yep. Get my years right. Spot Plus is a new spot market with a difference. It is directly linked to the FX futures marketplace. So participants can trade spot FX in OTC convention without the need for a futures account, but accessing futures liquidity. And also they can place bids and offers into the Spot Plus marketplace, and those bids and offers can be represented in the futures order book in contract terms in futures convention. And Spot Plus uses implied matching, which is commonly used at the CME in markets such as interest rate futures. Implied matching essentially takes resting orders from two related marketplaces and presents them in a third as a resting order, as an implied resting order. And in this case, it looks at the FX futures marketplace and FX Link as a combination, or FX Link and Spot Plus as a combination.
Right. Obviously, FX Link is a key part of this. I'd like to get to that in just a minute. But in terms of sort of how you feel people will use Spot Plus, I mean, because it's going to be a little bit of a change for some people, just in terms of the workflow element of it. I mean, how do you anticipate people using Spot Plus?
So Spot Plus, we think in the first instance to be primarily used by takers in the marketplace, accessing futures liquidity. Yep. We feel that over time there'll be more passive bids and offers. A lot of banks we've spoken to who can't trade futures a day still want to access that futures liquidity as a market maker. Yep. So we feel over time the market will evolve. And once passive orders come in, you then can evolve. The next stage will be native orders. Spot Plus will have a matching engine in Chicago, adjacent to FX Link and FX Futures. So that implied matching will work continuously through those three marketplaces. And
something else we'll get to later on is obviously EBS Market. And I guess this is behind the EBS Market move as well to bring things closer together.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So Spot Plus will be delivered on the same connectivity, either API or workstation, to EBS Market users. It's available on the same legal entity. So we expect to offer additional product to EBS Market users. So offer more currencies and also complementary liquidity to the existing currencies on EBS Market.
So the manual traders don't get left behind by this?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, we've just flagged it, but FX Link plays a crucial role in all of this. I mean, FX Link is a few years old now. Trying to remember exactly how many years old, but I mean, it's seen actually really interesting growth this year, from my point of view. I expect it's going to play a key role in Spot Plus, and that could even give it a bigger boost.
Yeah, so FX Link, it's around, it's over 5 years old actually. It's the spread between FX Futures and OTC Spot.
I've suddenly felt very old.
Yeah. It's the market takes a while. Sometimes takes a while to adopt these new initiatives. It's a spread between OTC Spot and FX Futures. It's a firm central limit order book. So it trades as a market in its own right. We see, initially we saw a lot of non-bank market makers, a lot of hedge funds trading the market really as a basis or position management to move exposures from FX Futures to Spot, or from Spot to FX Futures to manage settlement credit. The growth has been seen by banks joining the marketplace. So as banks have automated their swap market making, we've seen a growth, a new interest in that marketplace. And as you rightly point out, it's key for Spot Plus. It sits in the middle between futures and Spot Plus. So it should be a good trade for the FX Link market makers to sit in that trade. And also it's key to translate between Spot Plus to futures and futures to Spot Plus.
Yeah, and I guess it also gives firms the ability to interact with CME Group in multiple areas. You know, they may just want to be on FX Link for a period of time and not on Spot Plus, but they still get that access or that visibility.
Exactly, and we will see firms operating in all three marketplaces, or firms just accessing Spot Plus because they can't trade the FX futures today.
Yeah. So we can't forget my old favourite, EBS Market.
Of course.
You've put in a lot of effort over the last year in terms of initiatives on EBS Market. We kind of hinted at one, with the new matching engine, the relocation things. What have you been doing over EBS Market to make sure that remains relevant?
Yeah, so we've brought our teams together. We're CME FX, but EBS Market is an important brand within that. As you know, it's an important primary marketplace. Once we completed the migration around 2 years ago, we're now in a position to actually enhance the market. Yeah. So we've rolled out a number of changes. We've tried to make changes to improve, I guess, the basics, to improve participation, improve execution quality. But also we have the constraint that it is a primary market, it is a transparent marketplace, it has a function, a role in FX today. I think we can classify the changes in threefold. We've made some changes to market data. We've made some changes to market ecology, which is basically a fancy word for more passive participation. Yep. And third, we've tried to introduce new order types. And those changes started in 2023 and have progressively or sequentially been rolled out this year.
Can you give us some sort of flavour of what those changes involved for the client?
Yeah, so market data, we simply sped up the market data. So for Spot, we went from 5 milliseconds intervals to 1 millisecond. And for NDFs, we went in 2 stages from 100 milliseconds to 5 milliseconds. That's just reflective of the change in market. We think the marketplace can absorb faster market data. We've had feedback from participants in the market that our market data is now a more valuable input because of this. And we've had pretty much universally strong feedback that the market can cope with those changes and execution is more deterministic. Yeah,
I mean, and that's quite an important factor, isn't it? Because historically, one of the problems was with speeding up the market data, you could leave behind a quite valuable, not maybe in volume terms, but a quite valuable set of participants that literally couldn't cope with it.
Exactly, and historically maybe some bank participants, which are critical for EBS, were worried about those changes. Yeah. They were universally supportive of speeding up the market data, because as you know, other venues have fast market data, real-time market data.
Yeah. So moving on from data, the other changes you made, you mentioned order types?
Yeah, so order types, we introduced price size time, which effectively prioritizes more size in the order book. That's mainly relevant for the NDF marketplace. Yep. Manual traders in particular like this order type. It shows greater depth in the book. We introduced that for Taiwanese dollar in particular. Okay. We've launched a price discretion order, enhanced price discretion order, which allows participation at finer price increments, combined with an iceberg. We've also changed some of the ecology, as I mentioned. Yep. We have certain rules or certain specific rules in primary markets, such as minimum quote life. Yep. We reduced the minimum quote life for Spot to 5 milliseconds from 20 milliseconds, and from NDFs from 500 milliseconds to 50 milliseconds. And that's just reflective, again, of changing market environment. Yep. The market is very fragmented, but as you know, there are certain participants that can connect those fragments. And we felt that having a longer minimum quote life actually was detrimental to liquidity, caused some adverse selection. So that's more pertinent and more relevant for today's market conditions. Yeah. And finally, we also recently introduced a reduced minimum price increment for euro dollar. We're now at quarters. Yep. We felt going to quarters in a staged process might be alien to some people, the old quarter pips, but was a step in the market, a phased step in the marketplace. We've seen improvements in price points, improvements in spread. We've also seen a 25% year-on-year increase in euro-dollar volumes. I know it's hard sometimes to disentangle volatility in other market events, but euro-dollar has been relatively benign as a currency, apart from a few key events during this year.
Certainly not dollar yen.
Exactly, not dollar yen yet. No.
I mean, to link that back then to Spot Plus. So I mean, what's role Spot Plus going to play in the data?
So Spot Plus, Yeah, so Spot Plus will be a valuable source of data. We have EBS Market data, which we've referenced as being important as in price formation. Futures is used commonly in the marketplace by those who can consume it, but Spot Plus will be offered alongside EBS Market data. Okay. So for those consumers of EBS Market data today, they'll additionally get Spot Plus rolled into
with
that price.
With the same commercial framework.
Exactly, yeah, the same commercial framework.
Yeah.
And it'd be available independently as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess finally, Paul, I'd like to maybe broaden it out a little bit further if we can, because obviously, to your point, there's been Spot Plus is a big launch for the firm. You've made these increments to EBS Market. The whole is about bringing your liquidity pools maybe closer together, they interact better, maybe. Do you think this is part of a wider trend? Do you see genuine demand or interest from market participants to be able to access futures and spot in a cleaner fashion beyond just what you're doing in your 8 currencies?
Yeah, we see genuine demand. As you know, the FX market's very fragmented. It's highly innovative, and a lot of those innovations have made execution more efficient. But we do see demand for sometimes less complexity. Yep. And we feel that by offering more product to our customers on the same connectivity, leveraging the same processes, can only be beneficial to them. Yeah. So that's why we've launched Spot Plus. We also acknowledge that futures are attractive to a lot of customers, buy side, global banks, some corporates. But for some regional banks, there is not a need for them to trade FX futures, a quarterly FX future, so hence why we launched Spot Plus. Yeah. And the other area that's been of interest to people with EBS over the last couple of years is NDFs. What's going on with NDFs at the moment? Yes, so with NDFs, we're a primary marketplace. We have recently merged our liquidity pools. Yep. So CEF and MTF, we now have one liquidity pool, MTF. We have done this based on customer feedback, so for operational efficiency, for more efficiency in connectivity and commissions, but also for more continuous liquidity. So the market is continuously open and able to trade. Because I guess when you get to that Asian close, with 2 different systems, it can become a little bit... Yeah, there's like a 2-hour hiatus, for want of a better description, and now the objective is just to have a continuous marketplace open. Yeah. We're also looking to develop beyond the Asian NDFs we're traditionally strong in, so start to look at LATAM NDF liquidity. Yeah, which I guess is another growing area, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I guess, just to keep an old manual trader happy, the manual trader hasn't been left behind by these changes, just to reiterate that. Yeah, so the manual trader will be able to access Spot Plus when it launches, and they'll have a new panel with CME Spot Plus alongside EBS Market. We can deal with new panels. Yeah. It's just a whole new technology thing. You've made an old spot trader very happy. Paul, as ever, great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully we can do this again soon. Thanks, Colin. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back again with new Unfiltered in the near future.